Hello everybody, I am back pulling you some cards for the next week or so. I'm going to start off with some tarot cards. Give us a little layout overview about what we've been going through, where we're going from, where we are, and where we're headed is usually how I pull, starting with the tarot, and then we'll go to Oracle to give us a little bit of insight into how to move through that smoother. We're always going through some sort of transition. Energy is always in motion, so that's kind of all I do with the cards, is just reading for myself and for my peoples, and just interpreting that my own way. So, whoop, there's our first card. Okay, I'm going to, let's see here. Okay, whoop, okay, whoop. Okay, let's see, I'm going to do one for, okay. All right, so where we're moving from, we have the Nine of Wands. Nine is the energy of closing out cycles. We move in cycles of 1 through 9, numerologically speaking, and how it relates to the tarot and interpreting things that way. So Nine of Wands represents sort of a ending of cycle, a breaking of habits, an awareness of some chapter closing in the realm of fire creation. It's just this feeling of a new chapter starting, which is something that I've definitely been feeling. And so moving into the present moment, the King of Cups is sort of like this moving from your head into your heart, governing your life based off of self-love and intuition rather than logic. On this short little spread I did, we have no swords energy, none of the air energy that sort of keeps us consumed in our minds, which I feel like a lot of the past has been, more recent past, kind of moving from head into body into heart. So right now, so I have, we're in the King of Cups, and I like to pull one kind of crossing. This is kind of how I pull it. I don't know if you can see any of this on the camera. Crossing, and that sort of represents the more what we have going on internally, emotionally, in our hearts, which is the Two of Cups, which is, Cups represents heart, emotions. So as the Two of Hearts, it often represents maybe a decision that has to be made, or a fork in the road, or this feeling of duality, longing. I'm going to just pull one more clarifier on that, just to give me one more layer of how we're feeling right now as we're moving through this energy. Okay, so Knave of Pentacles. So it's kind of urging us to look away from what we have going on in life in the material world, as far as our job and our prosperity. None of the Knave of Pentacles is, it's a lot of like, we've been doing the work, we've been putting in the time and what we are doing and what we're creating in our life, and a sort of chapter is coming to a close, and for this moment, taking a rest from figuring it out, knowing where you're going, trying to figure out where you're going, and just resting in your heart. And a lot of self-love, self-care is called for at this moment to move us through this transition, focusing on the things that make us feel good and the places that have been, you know, working for us, and trying not to focus on the places that don't. I know personally in this trend, it feels like a big transitory phase. Perhaps just within me, but it feels greater than that. Let me know if you've been feeling that too. Big old transitional time. And when I'm in that time, I get very discombobulated because I think I know a lot of my life is sort of governed by ambition and passion and drive. And I have projects and doing things, and I feel good when I'm getting things done. And, I get a lot of stuff done, but when the times where nothing really feels right to be doing, I sort of just allow myself, give myself grace to just be in that discomfort, and just be in a place where nothing really does need to make sense. Because I know I've been through it enough times personally, that I know that we'll come out on the other side and we'll have been reformed. I know in the past readings that I've done for you guys not too long ago, there was a lot of, I talked about the butterfly going into the chrysalis and then turning to goop and then reforming, or the butterfly doesn't, but the caterpillar goes in, comes out as a butterfly. But in the transition period, it has that goopy phase before it reforms. So we've been in goop and starting to reform. We're starting to rebuild, but you can't rush that either. If a butterfly were to break out of its cocoon too early, it would die or it couldn't fly. So that's important. So we're moving into, an abundant time, materially, prosperity. In our world of prosperity and work, abundance, all of that, but nurturing. So it carries this energy of, we have the Sun and the Six of Pentacles, so it carries this energy of love, nurturing, and abundance and prosperity all in one. So what I'm kind of seeing with this is allowing things that no longer serve us to stay in the past. When we're going through big transitions, that's the easiest time to break habits that maybe we've been wanting to break, stop, letting go of relationships that no longer serve us, that might feel, toxic or whatever, in any form, just that don't serve our highest good or make us feel our highest, versions of love. And so leaving that in the past and just slowly stepping and being where we're at right now, turning inward, taking care of ourselves in whatever way that means, loving ourselves as much as we can, loving ourselves enough to give us a break if that's what we need, rest if that's what we need, journal, whatever it is that your heart is telling you that it wants and needs. But just being with yourself, holding yourself. There's a lot of nurturing here, but I'm not getting nurturing from outside. This is like a lot of internal nurturing, nurturing our own spirit, taking care of ourself, and our own emotional needs, because as we're going to be moving in, the more we nurture ourselves and our own needs, that is nurturing our abundance and our prosperity, because our prosperity and our material world feeds off of, it all starts in here, So right now in this phase, looking inwards, taking care of ourselves and our needs is a lot more important than it can feel like when we're go, 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 go. It's easy to bypass our own wants and needs, our own body's needs, our soul's needs. I definitely feel that. I definitely do that a lot when I get busy. I have to work a lot with eating, because I get really, really busy and I get in my head and just like doing my things and performing, and it's easy for me to forget to eat or not make that a priority. So in this times where we slow down, where I slow down, where I feel the need and don't feel a solid sense of direction, it allows me to sort of go back to the roots of caring for myself, my body, stretching, the things that my body's calling for, my soul is calling for. And so nurturing ourselves is then leading into nurturing our abundance. I just am looking at this card and it really represents a lot of like inner child work as well. Like I guess when I'm talking about, you know, self-love and self-care and what does your body and soul want, a lot of that is your inner child. And through just the practices that I do and therapy and all that sort of thing, it's learning to care for ourselves and visualizing, you know, that kind of little kid within you, because we still have that. We have all stages of life inside of us, and there's a child within us who has wants and needs, and can cry out for attention in different ways, and learning or just working on right now, sitting and listening to that, paying attention to that, and giving that inner child what it needs. And the universe, in respect, reacts, law of attraction, giving you what you need, you know, because then we're a child of the universe, and it just pop, 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 pop. But we do have the sun in the future, so the beautiful thing is the sunshine is coming, metaphorically and hopefully literally. It is a very gray day here in the Pacific Northwest. I just got back from Thailand last week, and it was so sunny there and 90 degrees, so it was definitely a shock for my body coming back into this weather. But just kind of how Washington winter goes, getting that, I'm feeling very Washington wintry, just trying to get myself moving. It can be difficult during this weather. Okay, I'm going to pull you an oracle, pull us an oracle, how to move through this transition. Just some tips. La la la, la la la, la la la, la 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 la, one more. Oh. Two more. Okay. Mm-hmm. 38. Upside down though, so let's see. Okay. Injustice and equality are part of life, but they do not have to define your experience. I think that's a really good sentence, just right there. Because, you know, we do have a lot of crazy things going on in the world, and it's easy to get wrapped up in them. But I will say it doesn't, like, just how it doesn't have to define your experience. Going to Thailand was pretty eye-opening. None of the news that is affecting our country so heavily and affecting, you know, all the things that are going on, I didn't hear a word of that over there. They've got their own thing going on, and didn't hear any. Basically what I'm saying is you have your own ecosystem, you know, that is your being, and you draw to you different experiences based on where you focus. And there's a lot of sad, hard, unfair things happening right now. 100%. And there's also a lot of amazing things happening at the same time. I'm just going to keep reading. This is a time when you may observe an injustice righted and fairly redressed. Perhaps you come to the rescue of someone else or are called to answer for a personal slight. You will be amazed by the sense of power that surges through you when you stand up for yourself and others. This card also indicates a good time to advocate for others who are less fortunate. Choose your cause and commit to it, because you can make a difference. One thing is for certain. If fairness is your intention, the situation will be resolved for the highest good of all concerned through acts of kindness, empathy, and courage. I love that. Yeah, addressing places. I've also been seeing that a lot. People standing up for other people around who aren't able to stand up for themselves. And I think that is really great and a part of the rebuilding that's sort of happening, the breaking down and the rebuilding. And there's so many ways that I'm seeing people are doing that with love and care. And that's really awesome. 20. Imagine. Illusions and wishful thinking, rooted in a sense of lack, have entered your life. Now may be the times to see things as they truly are and not as you hoped or imagined they would be. Release any fear, then envision anew. Perhaps you are anticipating that something fearful might happen, and recreating that image of disaster over and over in your mind. The universe responds to such projections, so be aware of this catastrophizing. No matter what illusions and awfulizing are a misuse of imagination. Clear the inner slate and stay grounded. Stay real. Only then can you truly have what you desire. Okay, and even before I read this last card, a lot of this, there's so many of these cards involve holding, I don't know if you can see, holding other people, holding ourselves, which is a lot of this is internal holding, but also just the love and the care. I don't know if you can see any of those. I love these cards, by the way. It's Clint Art style tarot deck. But anyway, so it is also being very aware, I guess, of the ways in which we stand up for ourselves and stand up for others, and doing so in ways of love and envisioning, instead of purely focusing on the injustice and what is, you know, going wrong. It's also, and especially, envisioning the world that we want to see, or the experiences we want to have for ourselves or others, and, you know, seeing that as reality now. That's a big part of law of attraction, manifesting, creating the life that you want, is not only thinking about it and imagining it as some unattainable thing in the future, it's bringing that into the now moment and really not only seeing it, you know, seeing it in your mind as much as you can, but just, you know, even pondering on it. But how does it feel in your body? You know, trying to engage as many senses as possible. How does it feel? How does it look? What does it smell like? How does it sound? And so that's, I think, very important. Is it's easy to get wrapped up in the catastrophes and the catastrophizing, because there are a lot of crazy, crazy things happening. But we are here bringing in a new world with a lot more love. A lot more love and a lot more empathy. By being that. By being empathetic. By being love. By being loving. Okay, 7. To the sea. All right, being in the flow, returning to source, recognizing how pieces fit together, a natural pattern of events. The Oracle's message. Isn't it wonderful when you feel yourself in the flow of life, when events and conditions seem to engage you in a way that is fluid and effortless? This card reminds you that going with the flow is exactly what you need to do right now. Ride the wave of opportunity formed by perfect conditions. Allow trust and faith to guide you forward as you flow like a river in the sea of life. I'll say that's a big thing, faith and trust. I'm getting those words in my personal experience a lot. In this sort of energy that we're going through right now is a lot of trust and faith. There's a lot of unknowns in the greater world and the internal world, and to just have faith that things are working out for your highest good and for the greater good. Trust and faith in a higher plan, in your soul's plan. Lastly, I'm going to pull a card from, so I just got back from Thailand, like I mentioned. I visited my sister Paige. My older sister Paige lives in Chiang Mai, more in the north of Thailand. And she actually designed this oracle deck. She made this deck maybe a year or two ago, 2 years, 3 years, I don't know. It's cool though. So in honor of just seeing her, I haven't pulled from her deck in a while. These cards are so slippery. I don't know, they're really nice. I love them, but they're always slipping out of my hands. They're like coated in this nice material, but whew. Okay. Anyway, I want to pull a last card to button this up. Permission. Okay, I'm going to pull one more. Oh, there we go. Evaluate permission. Okay. Yeah, so giving yourself permission to not be okay. It's okay to not be fine. It's okay to not be there yet. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not feel ambitious. It's okay to not feel anything. It's okay to not feel loving sometime. Like, it's okay to not feel all of these ways. And I think that is ultimately really important. That's something I had to work on a long time, was giving myself permission and giving myself grace. And evaluating, that goes along the lines of, I guess, what I was talking about in the beginning, is sort of evaluating where we came from, where we're going, because we're ending up a cycle. So the evaluation right there with the release, evaluating and releasing what no longer works for us as we are freed from past cycles. But I suppose it is a really important thing to be doing, before writing our next chapter, as we begin to write our next chapter, is evaluating what worked and what didn't for us in the past, and how we want to feel in the future. It can be easy to get wrapped up in specifics of what we desire, but focusing, I suppose, more on how you want to feel in your world. Okay, a lot going on here. I don't know if you can see, I got all these cards. I love it. Okay, well, anyway, yeah, that's that. I'll be back soon with some more card pulling for you next week, but I hope you all are doing well and having a great time, whatever you're doing, lying in bed. I've been doing a lot of that myself, and that's okay. I give myself permission and the space to evaluate and imagine a world where things are more fair. But for the main, I really liked this, is just going with the flow, allowing ourselves, surrendering, being a plankton, floating around in the sea, not fighting the tides. And even in this boat, she's actually riding in like a paper hat. She's got little fairy wings. Looks like she might be journaling, but she looks just sort of content. Maybe not the happiest, but just chilling in this little boat, letting the wind guide her. And she actually has binoculars, but they're facing backwards. So not necessarily knowing where you're going, being in the present, but seeing where you came from, evaluating, being here now, going with the flow, letting life take you. Let the winds take you. So a lot of self-care and self-love this week, as always, but just rest in your heart and know it will all be okay. Talking to myself and talking to all of you. Okay. I also wanted to say, if you made it to the end of this, for next week and future, if you are on my Patreon, feel free to drop a comment if you want me to pull a card for you. I can pull you a specific card. You can tell me what you want me to pull it about, or just that you want me to pull one for you generally, and that's okay as well. And if you don't want to share, that's okay, as long as you hold that idea in your mind of what you want me to pull about. That translates. So anyway, I will do that after a general reading next week. At the end, I'll put patron card pullings at the end. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Love you. Have a good week.